Maintaining your body's a difficult thing. When you're an adult, you have to worry about working, taking care of kids, paying bills, and usually the last thing you think about is yourself. So naturally, as you get older, things tend to slide, you gain a few pounds here and there, and before you know it, you can't fit into any of your clothes. It's happened to me, it's happened to everybody. Today I'm going to talk to a gentleman named Brian, who went through the same thing that a lot of people in this world have went through. He was not happy with the way he was looking, the way he was feeling, and decided to do something about it. He started a blog called Dadbod Hiking, where he notes his journey through self-improvement in the mountains of Colorado. His journey isn't only about losing weight and getting healthy, it's about maintaining his mental stability in a crazy time. Hopefully you guys can listen to this and maybe get some insight into how to improve yourselves too. This is Zach Jenkins. Thanks for listening to the 12 Hike Podcast. Nature is the door to happiness.
The things that you see, the experiences that you have while kayaking stand out.
Not only is it people's own personal kind of spiritual experiences that we try to create in the wilderness for people, it's also like this community building thing, right?
There are lots of keys you can use to unlock it.
And like we all got to be Goonies for a little bit if we grew up in the 80s. That was an absolute dream to go find, a pirate's chest full of gold.
Now, as you can tell, we're pretty passionate about catfishing. We could keep talking all night long, really.
Let us help you find your key. Welcome to the 12 Hike Podcast.
Open my eyes, and here's this Milky Way, and I'm looking at this, and like it was an instant reaction. Like I went to nudge somebody next to me because I wanted them to see the same thing I was seeing. I wanted to share that with somebody, and
Are you there, Brian?
Hey, how's it going, Zach?
Hey, not too bad. How about yourself?
Oh, good. How's the mic sound? Okay?
Yeah, you're good. Loud and clear. Thanks for agreeing to do a podcast. I know it probably felt kind of weird just having someone contact you out of the blue, right?
Well, yeah, anything with this has been kind of weird because, I don't know. I've never done anything like this before, so yeah.
Well, me and you are in the same boat, partner, because this podcast thing is brand new to me, too. So,
very cool.
I listened to a lot of them, but I moved and a lot of things have changed. And I thought, man, I need something to occupy some of my time. And podcast fell right into my lap. So,
yeah, very cool.
Here we are. Have you lived in Colorado your whole life?
No, I haven't. I grew up in Ohio, outside Cleveland area. And I kind of bopped around a lot. I went to college over in western Ohio and then in Michigan. And then I moved down to Arizona. So I was living in the desert for 7 years. And that's where I met my wife. And then my work took me up to Colorado. And I've been here ever since. I've been here now almost 12 years now. Yeah.
Huh. I moved here from Ohio as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I was out on northeast Ohio up there by the lake. So
yeah, I was at the exact opposite end of the state from you. I was down by the Ohio River.
Ah, very cool. Yeah.
I don't know about cool. That might be stretching a little bit.
Yeah, but you have Skyline Chili down there, so.
Brr, I don't like Skyline. Yuck.
Oh, we have to end this right now. Sorry.
I can't handle it. I tried it. I've tried it several times. I just never could get into it.
That's fair.
So, bopping around a little bit, have you always been into hiking and outdoor activities, or is that something you picked up whenever you moved here?
A little bit, yeah. I've always done different things outside. I kind of got my outdoor itch playing a lot of disc golf. When I lived in Michigan and Ohio, Just kind of like that was a way of like getting out and do it. But I've always been like kind of like the person who needed to like do something as well as doing another activity. If that doesn't make any sense, but I don't like to just go running. Like I'm not like a runner. So like I would like go and hike in the woods, but I would play disc golf while I was doing it, or like I'll go for walks, but we'll like do geocaching while we do it and things like that too. So I've always been kind of that way. And now though, having like running my own business and having a kid and stuff like that, I found like hiking was my I don't want to do anything else thing now. And it can be out there by myself and just kind of in the quiet and have that couple hours where like nothing else is really on my mind or occupying me.
Yeah, that's that little bit of peace and quiet time really is nice whenever you're a grown up and you got a lot of responsibilities.
And I mean, and being in Colorado doesn't hurt because, I mean, look at the area that we get to do stuff in too, you know. I mean, I was in Boy Scouts and, you know, did all that kind of stuff. But as weird as it is, like, I like hiking a lot better than I like camping. I'm not a big camper anymore. Like, I mean, if I have a travel trailer or something, sure. But, like, I don't know, just, like, sleeping in a tent isn't for me as much, as weird as it is.
Well, there's a certain amount of unpleasantness that comes with camping, like actual tent camping. And it's one of those things where people either they're into it and they can tolerate it, or it's your you'd rather kind of set up in a camper or sleep in your own bed, right?
Yeah, and it's not the actual like sleeping outdoors and that kind of aspect. I don't mind any of that. It's the logistics involved beforehand that bugs me. like how much stuff you have to pack up, and like, did I forget something? You get there and you always don't have something. You have to, you know, build the place they're going to live in that night. If I could just go somewhere and have it be there, I'm down with like being at rustic and outside and sleeping outside. And so I just hate having to pack up all the stuff ahead of time.
Now, see, I'm the exact opposite. My wife right now is trying to talk me into buying a camper, and we've got a perfectly good tent up there. In my mind, hauling a camper is so much harder than just setting up a tent.
Yeah, that's fair.
But if it'll get her out, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
What kind of business do you have?
Me and my wife own a musical instrument repair shop here in Broomfield, Colorado. We do mostly band instruments, so woodwind and brass, and we do work for majority of Boulder Valley District, Brighton District, Jeffco. We do all the work for the CU Buffalo Golden Buffalo Marching Band, which we're super about. Me and my wife have been band geeks our entire lives, and that's actually how I met her. She was in the Arizona State University Sun Devil Marching Band when I met her, and so we've kind of been band geeks our whole life. So now we own a band shop to help all the other, you know, aspiring band geeks in the world, you know.
Is that what you went to school for? Something related to music?
Yeah, I went to school for music education to be a band director, and then realized that I liked kids, but I liked giving back at the end of the day, and I didn't really want to be a teacher. And so, but I still like being involved, and I like being out there, just kind of more in small doses. And I found out that the best way that I could really help the music programs and bands is that I've always been a fixer. I take things apart, I build them, and so I decided to start fixing instruments, and absolutely love it. I think it's a great way of being involved, and it's a skill set that not a lot of people know how to do anymore. It's kind of an old world skill, and yeah, we love it.
It's kind of eerie how similar our paths are, because I went to college to be a middle school teacher, and I got down to the end of my college career and said, you know what, teaching's not for me.
Yep.
And completely just changed career paths.
Yeah, I mean, if I would have been told by my high school guidance counselor that fixing musical instruments was a valid career choice, I probably would have been doing it a lot earlier. But, you know, I mean, I think, you know, the age that I am, you know, when you were in school, like, vocational stuff was looked down upon, and any of that kind of thing was like, oh, you have to go to college. And, I mean, it's not that I don't use my degree, because the music ed degree helps with what I do, but, you know, I wish I would have been told earlier on that this was what is a valid career, because I probably would have been doing it a lot long ago.
Oh, absolutely. You know, my brother is a union welder, and he got all of his training through the union. He came out the other side that he didn't owe any debt, and here he is making, you know, twice as much money as I ever did.
Yep.
So yeah, I understand that the vocations are looked down on a little bit. So you bounced around, you landed in Ohio, married, kid. What was kind of the point where you kind of sat down and said to yourself, you know what, something's got to give here. Something's not right. I need to change something.
Well, I mean, part of it was turning 39 and realizing that I have one more year till 40. You know, that's a big milestone that everybody kind of, you know, the over the hill milestone as it was. And I kind of decided at my 40th birthday or 39th birthday last year that I was going to lose 40 pounds by the time I was 40. So I call it my 40 by 40 kind of challenge. And I started thinking about different things that I could do for it. And I'm not really a gym rat. I can't get motivated to go and just like lift weights or do things like that. I just kind of find it boring. And I started looking around, and, it doesn't matter where you live. Like, you tend to forget how great some of the things around you are. And then I started looking around and it's like, you know what? I live in Colorado, and people travel quite literally around the entire planet to get here and spend 1 week here their entire lives. And I have it in my backyard. So let's take advantage of that and let's do that. And then I started looking for also hobbies that didn't require a lot of equipment or a lot of money to get into. I don't have the money to become a skier at this age, and that's a very expensive hobby. And I was looking like, well, all you really need for hiking is a willingness to walk in a good pair of shoes to start. And so that's kind of where it went to. And I was like, you know what, this is something I can easily like commit to going and doing once a week, and I don't have to go too far for it. It's right around me. So I kind of decided that was what I was going to do, and started just kind of exploring in earnest more than, just like a random family walk in the park kind of thing. Yeah.
And the taking it for granted thing, do you feel like a lot of people in this area take, the Front Range and the mountains for granted?
I think everybody does, no matter where they live. Like when I was in Ohio, I look back at it now and go like, do you know how many times I went and like explored the coastline of Lake Erie? Almost never. And it's it's literally one of the Great Lakes. Niagara Falls was a 4-hour drive from my house, and I went to it twice when I was a kid. I think everybody has those things, and it's just like, since it's right near you, you don't think of it as anything special, but like you got to take the time to like see those things. And I kind of looked at it like, the Flatirons, especially right here in Boulder, which is 20-minute drive from my house, like literally people come travel all around just to get to hike those for 1 or 2 days. And I've had access to it 20 minutes away for 10 years of my life, and how much have I have actually gone and seen of it. And I think that kind of, no matter where you are, I think you just kind of, you get used to the thing being there and not realize how special it can be.
Yeah, after moving away. I've been here for almost a year now, and I guess you're right. That's a very valid point, because I think back at all the things that I can't do that I did back home, and it kind of makes you go, well, crap, why didn't I do all that stuff earlier?
And that's kind of one of the like, this is a way of also kind of scratching that itch. Like let's really explore what's available to me here.
Yeah. So, you got it set in your mind. You got your 40 by 40 challenge. What made you decide to document everything and create the blog, Dadbod Hiking?
Well, so the blog was really, I didn't actually write it for anyone. I was never actually planning on showing anybody the blog. This is more my kind of like, I collect old cameras. I collect Polaroids just because I think Edwin Land, the guy who invented them, is a really interesting character. And so I have like a weird collection of cameras. And I often think about like how, all of our parents have boxes of photos sitting around that they can pull out and look at, where all of our photos are like just digital and like get lost. I mean, like how many times have you like switched a computer and then like all of a sudden lost like 2 years worth of photos and you don't know where you saved them? And so the blog was kind of like my way of like, I'm going to take pictures. I'm going to kind of like do the thing, but I'm going to like write it down and put it somewhere so I don't lose it. So I remember where I came from. So I remember, that first hike when I felt like I was going to die because I could not walk more than 1.5 miles, and it was just, too much. I could look back at it later on and be like, well, look at where I came from. And I think that's a motivation for doing stuff. Now, so I decided to make a blog because it's free. It's easy enough to do. I call it Dadbod Hiking because I'm a little bit bigger and I thought it was kind of funny. But yeah, I never really planned on actually sharing it with people to begin with. So yeah.
It's funny because one of our podcast things that me and another guy do, we're rather portly ourselves. Mm-hmm. So we've got a little segment we call Fat Guy in a Little Boat where we talk about kayaks. So
nice.
It's fun to have little tongue-in-cheek kind of things.
Yeah, exactly.
So even though you didn't plan on sharing it with people, have you had anybody read it and go, hey, that's kind of inspiring, I should do something like that?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I had probably gotten written about 4 or 5 hikes worth. And I'm in, I think you probably found it through the Hiking Colorado Facebook group, which is a great Facebook group. I absolutely love that one. And one day I just kind of like made a mention, and I actually asked